Okay. No problem. Happy New Year. Thank you. No, I didn't even look. Distinguished colleagues, distinguished colleagues, let us look at the votes and proceedings. Please examine the votes and proceedings. What comes first? the budget has. Continue.
Mr. President, the chamber is ready for you.
Distinguished colleagues, let us examine the votes and proceedings. Thank you. Of Saturday, the 30th day of December 2023. Thank you, the very ebullient and hardworking whip of the Senate. Page 477, page 478. Distinguished Senator Nweboyi.
I remain Senator Peter Onyekachi Nwebonyi. I hereby move that the vote and proceedings of Saturday, 30 December 2023 be adopted as a true reflection of the business of this hallowed chamber. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko.
Thank you, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Ned Nwoko. I represent Delta North Senatorial District, Delta State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by distinguished Senator Nwebonyi that the votes and proceedings be adopted as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support of the approval of the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 30th day of December 2023, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Announcement. With sad regret, I wish to notify His Excellency the Senate President and distinguished senators of the demise of Mr. Emmanuel Ozubere on Monday, January 1, 2024, in Abuja after a brief illness. Mr. Ozubere was born on March 9, 1947, and he acquired various educational qualifications, including a master's degree in public administration from the University of Lagos. Before he was employed into the National Assembly, he rose through the ranks until he was appointed as the clerk of the Senate in the year 2000, a position he held until he retired in August 2002. The funeral arrangements will be announced by the family. I hereby request the Senate to observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. This is signed by the clerk of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, maybe before we proceed further, we may just have to honor the dead who served this hallowed chamber meritoriously. So may we rise and observe in silence. May the soul of the late Emmanuel Ozubele, former clerk of this hallowed chamber, rest in perfect peace. I wish to felicitate with the following distinguished senators who celebrated their birthdays while the Senate was on break. Distinguished Senator Binus Dauda Yaro, born, okay, you say I should not add it. Should I add? Is it the wish of the Senate that I should conclude? Yes. Born January 1st, 1955, distinguished Senator Adamu Mohammed Aliru, Governor, Minister, Senator, born in 1957, 1st January. Distinguished Senator Oyewumi Olarere, born 5th day of January 1960. Distinguished Senator Waziri Aminu Tambuwa, Governor, Speaker, born, my God, this was 10th presidential candidate, born 10th January 1966. Really? Interesting. So the young shall grow. The distinguished Senator Chukwu Chisoba Kelvin, born 10th January 1972. The young is growing. Distinguished Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, Senate President Emeritus, born 12th day of January 1959. Distinguished Senator Nasiru Sani Sango Daura, born on 23rd January 1969. 1969. Okay, you are reduced it by 1 year. we are giving you 69 and you are insisting on, okay, so I take 68 for you. So, distinguished Senator, Governor, and leader, Seraki Dixon. Really? Seraki Dixon, former member, House of Representatives, Governor and leader in Niger Delta, and chieftain of the Izong Nation, born 28th day of January 1966. Oh. And then a very distinguished Senator, Abubakar Abdulaziz Yari, born 28th day of January 1968. So let me, on behalf of this hallowed chamber, wish our distinguished brothers happy birthday. May Almighty Allah grant each and every one of you more years of prosperity and good health and time to save humanity and your nation. Amen. So in view of the fact that I'm just discovering that most of the colleagues were born long after I finished my primary school, I will no longer announce the dates from now on. Very distinguished Deputy Senate President, Senator Barrow Jibrin, the leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, former member of ECOWAS Parliament, the distinguished principal officers, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me welcome all my distinguished brothers and sisters to the Hallowed Chamber of the 10th Senate. Where the landlord, I mentioned principal officers, and I thought they were covered, but I can specifically mention distinguished Senator Abamoro, our minority leader. And all the principal officers of the minority side, who are actually, we are one Senate. So once I say principal officers of the Senate, it covers all of you. So please don't count yourself out. Or sit there, you understand? So let me say that I welcome you for a very well-deserved Christmas break. Before you went on Christmas, I don't think there had ever been a Senate in Nigeria that showed so much zeal and patriotism. Even in clearance of nominees for different appointments, including ministerial, you worked here sometimes up to 10 p.m. in the night, sometimes 11. And then, of course, what you did during the budget sessions, totally unprecedented. You have to collapse your rights and then team up with the House of Representatives to have joint sittings to be able to meet up the January to December period for Nigeria to move forward. And I want to say congratulations to all of you. Even if the others do not see it, we know the stress on ourselves that we went through to achieve what we did. And I believe that with that commitment, Nigeria will definitely move forward. In the name of Almighty Allah. Thank you for all of you. To my heartfelt wishes for a happy new year to you and your families. The past year tested us in the crucible of elections, 2023, and our constituents found us worthy of their trust, and then they mandated us to be their voices in government. Our commendable performance, as stated last year, has raised the expectations of our people. When a task is executed with excellence, expectations naturally soar. Thus, the recess provided us with an opportunity to reconnect with our loved ones, reignite our commitment to the public good, and return to this esteemed chamber with renewed vigor and determination. Our constituents have bestowed on us the weighty responsibility to serve, to lead, and to make decisions that shape our nation's course and the welfare of our people. We must never forget the gravity of this responsibility or the faith our constituents have placed in us. Allow me to recount a story from an American history captured in the publication called A Message to Garcia. This was written by Albert Hobart. During the Spanish-American War, the United States needed to contact the Cuban rebel leader, General Galicio Garcia. for a joint military strategy. U.S. wanted him badly in Cuba. However, General Garcia was a wanted man because of his activities, and his whereabouts were unknown. The then American president, William McKinley, entrusted a man named Andrew Rowan with a letter to deliver to Garcia without giving him any address and without giving him any direction. He just said, deliver this letter to Garcia, Rowan Garcia. Rowan, the letter carrier, did not ask any question. He did not say, where do I find him? He strapped the letter to his chest, as was the practice in those days, and journeyed to Cuba. After using his initiative, he found General Garcia. He delivered the letter personally to him, and then he returned to America, to his president, with a very great reply. The president was excited. Just like the letter carrier, Rowan, each senator here has been entrusted with a mandate from his senatorial district and his constituents, akin to Rowan's letter, which is strapped to his chest. Our constituents believe that we can navigate the corridors of power, do whatever is right in order to make them proud, and return with tangible results to our constituents. We must carry this mandate close to our hearts. We must act upon it, and we must make our constituents proud as expected of us. Like Rowan, the building blocks needed to create a great and united country in Nigeria must be dealt with in this hallowed chamber. These blocks will require courage, it will require unity, it will require integrity, and it will require strategy. As we are entrusted, like Rowan was, we must take the results home. No matter what, we will never fail, and Almighty God will not allow us to fail. I thought somebody would shout amen. So, distinguished colleagues, it is our duty to justify the trust vested in us by diligently addressing the challenges facing our nation and striving for the betterment of society. As distinguished senators, we have a unique platform to effect change and advocate for our constituents' interests. History and future generations will not forgive us if we squander this opportunity or fail to leave our mark on the annals of time. Let us use our time in this revered chamber to delve into pressing issues, engage in passionate and respectful debates, and craft legislations that reflect the needs and aspirations of the people of Nigeria in general. In the coming months, we will face a multitude of challenges, from economic recovery to healthcare reforms to national security and even social justice. It is imperative that we approach these issues with a spirit of collaboration, brotherhood, love, and commitment to finding common ground in order for this country to move forward. Let us rise above partisan divides and work together, transcending party lines, for the greater good of our great nation. Our patriotism demands that we need no other call except Nigeria's call, the call echoed in our national anthem. Let us continue to work and collaborate with the executive arm of government under His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, without compromising our independence as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. I urge each and every one of us to embrace the power of dialogue and the importance of compromise. Let us listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, guided by reason and evidence in our decision making. Let us be champions for the marginalized and the voiceless, and advocates of justice and equality in our dear nation. Our purpose should be twofold: to do as much good as we can to all the people we can, and to prevent an injustice from befalling anyone in our great nation. For injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. As we embark on this legislative session, let us be inspired by the limitless potential of what we can achieve together. Let us remember that the work we do here has the power to transform lives, uplift communities, and shape the destiny of our great nation and the fortunes of our continent. We must be bold in our vision, unwavering in our commitment, and steadfast in our dedication to the principles of democracy and good governance. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to all of us. I pray that we embark on this new chapter with a sense of purpose and determination to make a difference. Together, let us strive for excellence, serve with integrity, and leave a lasting legacy of progress for future generations. Let the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria be a reference point in good legislation and a statement to our collective dedication to democracy and vision. Welcome, and God be with all of us. Leader of the Senate. Yes, distinguished Senator Abamoro.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abba Moro. I represent the very good people of the Benue South Senatorial District. Mr. President, with your kind indulgence and the consent of my colleagues, I want to come under Order 41 and 51, a matter of urgent public importance. With your permission, Mr. President, I'll read.
Proceed.
The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And Order 51, Mr. President, dispensing with notice. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators. President. So, Mr. President, today I want to present to you a matter that affects the lives of our people, the people of Agatu local government in the Benue South Senatorial District, where on the 18th of January, some bandits invaded some communities, killed some persons, and have literally taken over the community. And I bring this motion of matter of public importance to bring it to the notice of the Senate and to ask the Senate for intervention in this matter. I so submit, Mr. President.
Okay, distinguished Senator Abamoro, I will put the question, but take your seat, because I have distinguished colleagues. I have over 5 people who have matters of urgent national importance. And some of them are so urgent, most of them have to do with insecurity. In fact, my brother, the distinguished senator who just rushed to me now, pointed out that it's among the first 5 that should come even before your own. So maybe we will step it down for a while, handle some issues, and thereafter we go to closed session so that members can assess which is the most urgent that we can take. It's not something I will decide from here. So I'm in sympathy. So we can step it down for a while. But in the meantime, let me just pass some correspondences from Mr. President to the clerk of the Senate. Am I right? Distinguished Senate President, disengagement of the Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 8, Subsection 2 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, Act 2018, I hereby seek the kind confirmation of the Senate in respect of the disengagement from office of Babatunde Irukere as the Executive Vice Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the FCCPC, with effect from Monday, the 8th day of January 2024. Well, I hope that this Senate will consider this request expeditiously. Please do accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest regards. This is a correspondence from Mr. President that requires urgent attention. So this is referred to the Committee of the Whole during this session. Clerk. Distinguished Senate President, request for confirmation of appointment of Executive Director for the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. In accordance with the provisions of Section 441, subsection 2 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Oluwole Adama as the Executive Director, Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund in the Petroleum Regulatory Authority. While I hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in an expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate Presidents and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest regards. This is signed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. I believe this is referred to the Committee on Downstream Petroleum Industry for to look into and revert to this hollow chamber within 1 week. Yes, downstream and gas. In fact, downstream and gas. Senator Jaribe, you think it should be gas alone? I know. So it should be. I know that it should go to the Senate Committee on Gas. But what about downstream? They should be part of it, but gas will lead, and then you revert to us under 1 week. Yes, point of order, Senator Kawo.
Mr. President.
No, you use your seat.
Okay, it's okay. Mr. President, my dear distinguished and respected colleagues, I am Suleiman Abrahaman Kawu Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano.
Mr. President, it is a constitutional order which is very common to us that National Assembly under Section 4 is vested the power of making law for Nigeria. Can I read it? Is there need? Okay. To Section 4. The legislative powers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be vested in a National Assembly for the Federation, which shall consist of Senate and the House of Representatives. Second, the National Assembly shall have power to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Federation or any part thereof with respect of any matter included in the executive legislative list set out in Part 1 of the second schedule of this Constitution. Based on these powers vested to the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, if we can, Mr. President, if we can remember last National Assembly, 9th National Assembly, passed Petroleum Industrial Act, which is one of the marvelous exercise of this legislative house. Under it, the communication sent to Mr. President on this executive director midstream and downstream gas pond, somebody or someone from my constituency was appointed as executive director, the one which you mentioned. And the appointment is in term of 5 years in accordance with the provision of Section 34 of the FIA, Section 34, DI Section 2, and 5 of the Petroleum Industrial Act. Therefore, and Section 36(1), he started in March 2022, and it is the Senate who confirmed him. And there are so many provisions in the Act that if for any reason he will be removed or replaced for any reason, there must be a process which the executive, although he has power to appoint, but there must be a procedure in line with our laws and constitution. Therefore, I am drawing the attention of the Senate that the appointment, okay, or the gentleman who is serving his term was not served with any letter of disengagement, or there was no correspondence from anybody, but he was just heard that he has been removed. Therefore, I think we are the one who made this law. It is the responsibility of the National Assembly to respect its own laws. That is the reason why I draw the attention of the Senate and of course Nigerians on the constitutional breach, which I believe it is an oversight from the executive.
Your point of order is noted. So the two committees, Committee on Gas and Downstream, when you are deliberating, as you are reverting to us, please take cognizance of his point of order. Distinguished Senate President, election of members of Parliament to the 6th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament. I write to inform you that the 5th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament will end on March 8th, 2024. In accordance with ECOWAS Supplementary Act of 17th December 2026, to this end, the National Assembly is requested to elect 35 of its members to represent Nigeria at the 6th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament for the period 2024 to 2028. As you are aware, the Supplementary Act requires the names and particulars of the elected representatives to be transmitted to the President of the ECOWAS Commission and the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament at least 1 month before the end of the legislature, which is the 7th day of February 2024. In light of the foregoing, the ECOWAS Commission has provided guidelines for the conduct of the election, which include the need for representation of each member state to reflect as much as possible the political configuration of the country and to also ensure at least 30% female representation in the country's delegation. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished colleagues, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours faithfully, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, and Chairman of ECOWAS. Just to inform you that this has already been taken care of, because I took action on this alongside the leadership, together with the clerk of the National Assembly, even before the arrival of this letter. So, Leader of the Senate.
Point of order, sir.
In fact, distinguished Senator Abamoro, is it in relation to urgent national importance? Yes, we said let's go into the business of the day, then we go into executive session to look at which of them we are going to take, because there are about 5. And we can only take one today. So let's just go through our agenda, then we go into executive session and decide on which one we'll take.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the harmonized retirement age for staff of National Assembly Service Bill 2024 HB 529. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, harmonized the retirement age for staff of National Assembly Service Bill 2024, HB 529, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, harmonized retirement age for staff of National Assembly Service Bill 2024, HB 529, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Akobundu Austin on the Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Umijahia North, Abia State, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 321. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Umuahia North, Abia State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 321, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Umuahia North, Abia State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 321, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Olamilekan Adeola Solomon on the National Institute for Border Studies, Imeko, Ogun State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 323. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Institute for Border Studies in Meko, Ogun State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 323, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Institute for Border Studies in Meko, Ogun State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 323, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Yisa Ashiru Oyelola on the National Road Transport Council Bill 2024, SB 324. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Road Transport Council Bill 2024, SB 324, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Road Transport Council Establishment Bill 2024, SB 324, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Adeto Kumbo Mikhail Abiru on the Central Bank of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 325. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Central Bank of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 325, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Amendment Bill 2024, SB 325, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, at this point, Mr. President, may I move that the Senate resolve into an executive session to discuss various issues that require our urgent attention. I so move, Mr. President.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do move into an executive session to discuss matters of national importance.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded that this hallowed chamber do resolve into executive session to discuss matters of urgent national importance. Those who are in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The press may just leave us briefly.